You,
Love You
podcast, where we are here to tell them what we're going to do, sis.
give you all the ease.
So we're here to equip, to educate, and to empower the body of Christ so that we can have this, what now?
Abundant life.
Abundant life. Abundant life. So welcome.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
So what are we getting into today?
Well, October being National Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Tis.
Yeah. So
I got my pink out.
yeah, we got a little shade pink here. We supporting. Always, yeah.
So what was that? Like 2 months ago now? I had my first.
Yeah. So you want to kind of walk us through that whole process of
So like I have this friend, right? And she'll remain nameless. And she was like, "So have you gotten your breast exam?" And I was
how
like,
many times that friend just kind of give all the clues. How long and how many times? Just curious.
I really feel like it was a year.
I think that sounds about right. Honestly.
I really feel like it was a year of, and I had one scheduled. I think it was like this is 23.
Yeah.
So I think I had one scheduled it was in 2020. It was during COVID. Because my friend got COVID.
Oh.
No, it was in 21.
It
was 21 because my friend, she got COVID that was supposed to go with me. And so about that point, I was like, oh God, no support. All right, bet. And so shut that down.
Put it all the way off.
I did.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I really did. And then I'm blessed to have a friend who is quite tenacious.
I like how that was such a pretty word. I like it. Thank you.
I grew up with that one. To ensure that I went and I got that done because there's a family history of it. And so for me personally, it was not so much because, you hear all the stories about it going to mash your breast and all the things. And that part, not so much for me because... I mean, if I'm just real, there's just not a whole lot to work with. And so that was not my portion. So I wasn't really concerned about that. I was actually more concerned about what the outcome was. And that was a real moment of kind of pause for me. Like what, even though which we'll get into later. Like I breastfed all my kids, which reduces your risk. I eat mangoes like they are going out of style. Yeah. You have to be attentive to that because of the sugar content. But I live a life that says I should be good, but you still it's that moment of mortality, and so it was just like
this is
So. My daughter went with me, and my technician was amazing.
Yeah, they usually are pretty awesome.
She was like, "Honey, it's gonna be fine." She's like, "Oh, this is your first one." I was like, "It is." Yeah. And she walked me through everything, and then the piece that I liked the most is that I got an immediate, "Everything's good," and I was like, "Bet."
I'm about to wait a week.
All right, no, because the way I was like,
the mind can do a thing.
It really can, and so that was a super thing. I was very grateful to have an immediate, because I was like, Lord, this is not my portion. Right. It's not my portion. Yeah. And then she was like, "We'll see you next year," and I was like,
It is not going to take me.
It won't take
I'm sorry, this nameless friend. A year or two.
It won't take her to do it again. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because I believe in doing the things.
Yeah, screenings. Yeah, because the whole point, of course, you don't want to have the condition.
Early detection.
But early detection can literally save your life. So, and I can even say this, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but I've recognized for myself doing my monthly, which I don't always do it monthly, I'm just going to be honest, but trying to be more consistent. But there is a feeling of I was unsettled, or you just concerned as you're rubbing, like you're gonna find something.
Yes,
and
it is.
And it is. It can be a little unnerving. It's like, oh, I'm doing this, but like, if I find something, like,
like, let me hurry up and do this real thing.
Listen,
But even with that, like because my girls both had fibroadenomas, but one of them was going to be detectable no matter what because of the size of it. But my older daughter that found it, it was because she was
doing her checks.
And you know, hers were small and everything is fine. Like those are that tissue is okay. But it is definitely a moment of mortality.
You feel it. You do. It brings you down. Like, okay, I'm a human. So there's things that can happen. So and to have that recognition of that, it can be a situation. But it's important because breast cancer is the second common type of cancer in the United States.
We have so many things that are common.
We do.
That should just be so uncommon.
But here's the other part, though. So who do you think?
Of course it's us.
Okay. She ain't let me finish. But the question was going to be what race, typically dies or has a higher death rate with the condition of breast cancer. And it's
right. Because, again, when we're faced with the thought of, and again, I go to the fact that, Black and brown people have been so mistreated in the healthcare field.
It's a thing.
That, even though things are somewhat better now, there's still that. I mean, you think about the Tuskegee experiment. You think about Henrietta Lacks. Like all of these things. And so it's just like, do I really want to go? But
history.
Here's the thing. You have platforms like ours, and then you have your own. Like there's a multitude of ways for you to be able to walk into a situation and be educated. And advocate for yourself. So, and you can have a really good friend who shall remain
just pushy, but she seems pushy, but
tenacious.
Tenacious. Yes, that's so much prettier.
She's
just
tenacious.
So tenacious.
To walk you through your mortality. And then to be okay with, like, for me, just recognizing that I'm just human. And so that's a feeling like we have to touch, like Jesus came down and he touched humanity. So we have to touch our humanity.
We do. You do. And I really felt with that, though, I was like, she's good. She just got to go through the process to know. You got to go through some difficulties to kind of go through that discomfort to get to that truth sometimes. And so your truth was, I knew you was going to be all right, but it's just getting there. Well, it's a process. And it's a process.
We have these stories in our subconscious. And so you have to really check what you're thinking. And so sometimes for me, it's not only the history of a thing, but it was thinking, like, I remember with my weight loss journey and people being like, you know what, you still gonna die. Well,
wow.
And this is a fact, and so are you.
Right.
But is it about the fact that I'm going to die or my quality of life? And
while I'm here,
and what I recognized again in meeting that mortality is that was part of the thing, and the conversation in my subconscious was like, okay, like. What I heard them say was, even if you live this life that's holistic, and even if you do these things that that you follow this path that is the right one, but the fact of the matter is, it is what it is, and it makes more sense. It makes the most sense to follow the path that says, even if something is there, I've caught it. I'm catching it early. I'm doing it, and I'm living a life that, much like when they see our other episode, I'm living a life that even if I meet something, I'm already ahead of the game because my nutrition is good, because I exercise, because that episode. Y'all in for something.
That was good. That was good. And I know a lot of times too, I have to have that conversation, and I forgot what the actress name was, that she was talking about it. Her mother was getting her mammograms and all that stuff right. And she ended up still developing breast cancer. I
think I know who you're talking about.
And I see her face.
They were super close. These two, is that what you're talking about?
I can see her face, but I can't think of her name right now. And so she was angry.
Yes.
And she was like, I'm not getting mammograms. My mom went every year and got it, and it missed hers. And she said, I think her mother ended up eventually passing away from breast cancer. So that put, a negative, view from her. She was like, I'm not doing it. And here, years passed. She didn't get it. And she finally changed her mind, decided to go, and she was stage 3.
Wow.
Breast cancer. Right?
Yeah.
And so now she's come back to say, I made an error.
Yeah.
And I hate that I didn't do.
Yeah.
And I should. I'm seeing her face. What is her name?
I can't help.
I can't think. Yeah. I hope it's gonna come to me. But she changed her story, and she said that I wish that because she has her son's 8 years old.
Right.
And she had someone to live for, and she was thinking, I wish that I would have, but I can understand where it came from.
Yes.
And again, life things that throw distractions at you to get you off course. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a thing for her. But now she's coming back, and she's an advocate for making sure that you're going to get your screenings done, because you just catch it early. Yeah.
Yes.
And so 2 of the most common types are the invasive ductal carcinoma and invasive lobular carcinoma. And another condition, it's not breast cancer, but you have higher risk, and it's called the Ductal Carcinoma Institute, and it's DCIS. And it's actually just in the lining of the ducts of the breast tissue.
Wow.
And so it can sit there and, you don't know which way it's going to go with it, but it can increase your risk factors of having breast cancer. And so some of the symptoms that you may find when you're doing your self-breast exam, you may not feel anything, especially if you have what they consider as dense breast tissue.
Yes.
If you can't get in deep, you may need some things.
Is that the same when you say deep, dense? Is it the same
more
as
connective,
fibrous?
Connective
because
tissue. It's more connective tissue than the fatty tissue.
Okay.
And that's what makes it more dense. Yeah. Okay. But you'll have a new lump in your breast or in your armpit, and we're going to talk about that too when you're doing your assessment. It's not just here, but you have to actually go up into your arm, to your armpit. Irritation or dimpling of the skin. So sometimes they call it like an orange peel, how the dimpling looks. And so that's a look that if your breast tissue starts to look that way, that's a change that's going on with that. Redness or flaky skin in the nipple area, pulling of the area, and having some pain, or either having discharge from your breast tissue. You should not have discharge. Any change in the size or the shape of the breast, or any pain that can be there. So those are things you kind of look out for when you're doing your monthly exams. And certain risk factors that increases your chance. So there are things you can't change, like getting older. There's nothing we can do about that, but that does increase your chance of having breast cancer.
It made me, I just had this thought of, not that it's funny at all, but it's just like, we associate so many negative things with getting older versus all the true positives there are with getting older. It just kind of hit me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. You should live long enough. Then I say, keep on living stuff. Just
I hate when they say that.
Right, but it's true though. It's true. Yeah.
It is.
And so having the breast dense tissue, reproductive history. So if you started your cycle before age 12, right, or started menopause after the age of 55. And so that means you're exposed to the hormones longer. So that means that you have higher risk for developing breast cancer. So all those things are kind of things to kind of keep in mind. Family history, first degree family member, your mom, your sister, that increases your chances as well. Or if you've ever been exposed to radiation treatment in this area up here, that can increase your chances as well. And I didn't know. So exposure to a drug that they used between 1940 and 1971, I'm not even going to try to say the word, I'm just going to call it DES, to prevent miscarriages. If you took that medication at that time, your risk for developing breast cancer is higher. So the things that you can work on that, the risk factors that you are in control of is, I know you're going to hit it already. So it's physical inactivity, not eating healthy, and things like that. So another part too, with the part where the not control of genetic part, the BRCA, the BRCA and the BRCA2 genetic mutation.
So you can get testing.
You can get it called BRCA analysis. You can get that tested, and some women actually decide to get elective mastectomies to remove it, just to kind of lower the risk factors for developing cancer later on.
I know somebody
who did that.
Right, who just went ahead and had the mastectomy.
Yeah. And it was something weird when that first came out about the genetic testing. It's so crazy. So sometimes with the life insurance policies and all that kind of stuff, if they find out that you had the testing and you were positive, they may not want to. And I don't think it's the same way per se right now. I don't have the latest data, but I remember that being a heavy conversation. Like, what do you mean?
It makes sense though, like just because of the way that that business
I was like, really though? So I'm trying to do something to preserve, to save my life, and I'm getting punished for that because I'm being proactive, and so that was a whole thing. So
But in spite of that, if it's testing that you think you need,
do it. I absolutely agree to get that done. Absolutely.
And I think again in that you meet mortality again, and not just mortality, but you meet femininity and what we decide as, because that's so associated with us as women, and it's how we feed our children, and all of these things.
The psychological impact that comes along with that is heavy. It's heavy, and I was reading some of the depression and stuff that women go through in relation to all that because of those very things right there, and
we'll get into that too, even with menopause, just as that things transition. It is. Let me tell you, being a woman is a real thing.
It is not for the faint of heart.
Please be strong enough.
It is not for the faint of heart, for sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just going to give us just 5 areas, my top 5 wellness tips, as far as if you are diagnosed, and then to also maybe circumvent the possibility of having. Okay. So number 1 is stress less. So I was reading, there's this book that I read in one of my college classes, and it's called Why Zebras Don't Get Cancer. Or is it Why Zebras Don't Get Cancer or Why Zebras Don't Stress? But the point is that animals, they have that fight or flight, and then they immediately, like, once the danger is gone, they go back to
normal state.
Right. But we live in a constant state of fight or flight, and how dumping those hormones into our system is. And so what the author was saying is, for us, that stress doesn't necessarily, like when they were doing, research, didn't necessarily cause the cancer. However, what they found was, if you have a tumor, that it can expedite the growth of said tumor or the And so what I want to do is, or what I'm going to do is give you 2 applicable techniques to be able to circumvent some of the stress. And so not just in regards to breast cancer, but just everyday life. Yes. And so what I want you to do, we'll do breath work, and then I have 2 movements for you. So you probably want to go ahead and push that out of your way just a little bit. And make your feet flat. And so we talk a lot about being intentional here, and intentionality helps you to really be aware. Intentionality brings awareness. And so you've got to be aware of what your normal physical state is, so that when there's something, I know, friend. So that
you do know, and work it out.
So that when something is abnormal, you're able to recognize it. A lot of times people miss stuff that's abnormal because they don't know what normal is for them, because they never sit still and check that out. So the first thing that you're going to do is sit nice and normal, feet flat, sit up nice and tall, and then go ahead and close your eyes. And then I want you to just start paying attention to your breath. I don't want you to change it. I don't want you to modify it. I just want you to pay attention to what it feels like right now.
Shallow.
It feels shallow. Okay. And so from that, what I want you to do is you're going to take a nice deep breath in through your nose and fill your belly up like a balloon. And then keep your mouth closed. Exhale through your nose. Good. Do that again. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your nose. Again, inhale through your nose, and this time we're going to exhale through our mouth. Inhale. Open your mouth, exhale. Good, and then find your regular breath. And then check out, how does your breath feel to you now?
It's full.
It's full. Okay. So what happened is you were able to, it really, you were able to see, okay, I'm tense and I'm tight.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Our breath is highly sensitive and adaptable to life's demands. And so if we take just a few minutes, we can calm down how our breath is reacting or responsive to the world.
Yeah.
Okay. The benefits of breathing mindfully, naturally, and deeply are all encompassing and support every facet of our mind, body, and spirit. So I would,
it's very calming.
Yeah, because she was tight like a ball a second ago.
I live there. But we're working on it.
But the point in that is everybody can find, or they can create a minute.
Yeah.
They can create a minute in their day to just breathe. And in that breathing, you're able to start assessing how your body feels. She was able to see, I am tight. I'm wound up like a ball. But if that's your constant state and you never sit still with it, then you're never going to notice it, right? And so if you don't ever sit still, or if you don't do self-break, like if you're not intentional about seeing who you are or where you are as a person, then you miss a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second thing for stress reduction would be movement. And so we'll do one movement, and then we'll post a little video with the second one.
Okay.
So this is something you can do sitting at your desk. Okay, I need you to come a little closer to the mic for me. All right, and we're going to do a seated side bend. So she's going to have her feet flat, and take a deep breath in. Lift your arms up above your head. Inhale. Good. As she exhales, her right palm is going to come to the sofa. And then she's going to reach her left arm over towards me. I don't know if you heard me adjust.
I heard you adjust. That had to feel good, didn't it?
It felt amazing.
Yeah,
good. And I'm not even stretching.
And this feels good.
So here in this position, inhale again, lift your chest, torso up, and then exhale, reach over a little further. Ooh. Yeah. That side body likes that. Hey. Gracious. And then inhale, come back to the center. And then exhale, do the same thing on the left side, down. Go ahead and drop that arm closer to your hip. Good. And then reach. And so you really want to think about pulling that shoulder kind of up out of the socket, stretching the side of the body. Good. And then exhale. Good. And come on back. All right. Yeah. So stress reduction, kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
The second piece is to cut back on sugar. Tumors feed off of glycogen. So you don't want to give them any sort of nutrition.
No assistance.
So exactly. Moderation is key. In humans, most cancers arise from genetic factors or exposure to environmental carcinogens rather than from viruses and those that have not been the subject of study of laboratory animals. So all of that they found, that's just how they found that the glycogen is a feed.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Go to sleep. And the funny thing is, we were sitting up working on this, and it was like 1 a.m. It was like, oh, go to bed. Go to bed.
Just go to bed.
Because, and here's why: sleep deprivation and altered sleep patterns are major stressors. So we just talked about stress. And then women who spend long periods working night shift have an increased risk of breast cancer. And here is why. They deplete melatonin. It's a melatonin depletion.
I love melatonin.
And that increases your risk of cancers, including breast cancer.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. And so, we talked about getting breast exams. So that's the what is that, number 4.
Let's jump in.
Yeah, so, number 4. Breast exam.
Yeah, so doing that. So typically they recommend you do it 7 to 10 days after the first day of your cycle. Yes, before your cycle. Yes. And a good place to do it.
Freaking yourself out for no reason.
I know. And a good place to do it stays in the shower, because you got the soap and you can move over things more smoothly. And so if you're a woman that is postmenopausal, they recommend just picking a day of the month. So like the first of every month or the 15th. So that way you'll have, and try to do it at consistent. Try to do it at the same time every month. Yeah. Yeah.
Lastly, and I'm certain if you guys have been hanging with us for a little while, eat more fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Cannot emphasize that enough.
Yeah.
And the two that I would like to highlight today, which we did in another episode, mangoes. Mangoes are just amazing. And again, I say to you, I will go to the grocery store and have my mangoes, so let's not get out of control here. But mangoes are amazing.
Yeah,
okay?
they are. They are.
Mangoes are good for breast tissue because they are rich in vitamin A, and which is an antioxidant. Polyphenols decrease breast cancer proliferation by 90%. And so polyphenols are found in mangoes. It contains vitamin C and also reduces inflammation. Kale. Remember when everybody was buying kale? Are you still doing it? Okay. So kale. Kale is loaded with antioxidants that destroy free radicals that cause breast cancer. It also has higher concentrations of vitamin C and vitamin K. And it helps boost the body's own antioxidant defense. So keep your weight in check, be physically active, eat your fruits and vegetables, don't smoke. If you can breastfeed, if you're of that, be a breastfeeding mommy. It helps reduce the risk. Avoid birth control pills, particularly after the age of 35. Avoid hormone therapy for menopause. If you can. And then the recommendation, I know they've made some changes with it, but I still push, if you're, ages 40 to 49, annually go and get your mammograms done. Yes.
And they say from age 50 to 74, you can do it, I think, every 2 years, but I'm still
and it's earlier if you have
a family, like 35, or sooner, or of course always sooner if you notice any kind of changes or anything like that. So, just be
I have
vigilant.
to laugh at myself. I mean, it's not because it's funny, but because grace. Because I should have started at 35. Because
but grace. Absolutely. Yeah. So we're covered. We know we're covered. So
so if you are listening and you are afraid, I implore you, take us with you. If you don't have a family member or a friend that you trust, just pick us up and carry us with you, and we are there. Leave us a message and we will shoot you back. We'll pray over you.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is that you need, we are here to help support and encourage you.
Absolutely. Be vigilant.
Yes.
And be proactive. Take care of you. Yes, take care of you. You only get one.
You're important.
Yes, you only get one.
You're so important.
And we've got work
that's
to do.
Just been on my heart all week. You're important.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really, really are. You are. I can't remember what did our adopted niece and child say?
She said so many things.
Please don't break into empty houses.
Oh,
buildings.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So did I say it right? Please don't break into empty houses. So if a thief is trying to break in, it's because you're important.
Trying to get something. Yes, absolutely. We
want to pray for you. Most holy and gracious Father, Lord, we bless you and we thank you, Lord, just for the opportunity to come and sit with one another and share, and to share with our friends that are watching, Father. I ask that you will give them a spirit of courage to change the things that they are able to change, Father, and to live the life that you have created for them, Lord. Help them to break out of a cycle of fear and discouragement and traumas, Father. And we ask that you touch and that you move in a mighty, mighty way. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, I love you.
And I love you. And we love you.
And we love you.
So you gotta say your line. No. Like.
Oh. Wait, no, because it's on this side. Like, share, subscribe. I did it. Like, share, and subscribe.
Until next time, we love y'all. Bye.